Check, 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 check. Sound check. What it do, beloveds? Let me know we in the building. Can you guys hear me out there? Do I sound right? Let me know. Give me some thumbs up. Welcome to the Respectfully Great Podcast. I am your host, Johnny Reed, and today we have a wonderful episode scheduled. I am pumped. I am ecstatic. We are back to the regular scheduled programming, and it feels great. It really does feel great, man. I am pumped. I am happy. I'm enthusiastic. Hopefully, you are having a wonderful day. Please let me know how your day is going. I would love to hear. Please let me know in the chat. We're just doing a quick wellness check, right? I think it's very, very important that we do this before we start actually getting to the mojo of doing what we do here at Respectfully Great. But I really, really want to tap in and make sure that your well-being is okay. We are live now from from Instagram, YouTube, StreamYard, TikTok, Facebook, all of those dope platforms. What I'm going to do at this very, very moment as well, I'm gonna write a little quick message right here on Instagram. Letting everybody know. Happy Thursday, Black Sacrifice. What's up, loved one? I love you more. Huh? Voice check is great. Voice check is great. I appreciate that. I'm gonna write this here on other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those things. What I would love for everybody to do in order to leave the comments so I can read them in real time, I would love for everybody to put them in on the YouTube. So when I see it on YouTube, I'll be able to actually, because I see it on that same feed. Instagram doesn't allow me to see comments. I have to actually go into the comment. I actually have to go to the platform itself to see the comments. So I'll go back and forth at times, but it's so much easier if we're able to put the comments in on YouTube so I can see everything at one time. Just have that fluidness. And also the other beautiful thing too is when we put it on YouTube, I'm actually able to highlight your comment and I'm able to display it and put it actually on the screen so everybody can bear witness to the comment that's being talked about, can see the name, can see the personnel. I think it's just a great transition to make sure that that comment gets highlighted. So what I love for everybody to do in due time, you come on any platform that you choose to, but if you want to leave a comment, I just ask if we can just put it up there on YouTube so I'll be able to highlight the comment and bring it up in real time. You know what? Let me leave a quick message here. I said on Instagram. One second. Please leave comments on YouTube so I can highlight. So I can highlight. I say, peace, beloveds. Please leave comments on YouTube so I can highlight them and give credence to you. Absolutely. There we go, loved ones. Put that up there. Just send it. Let's put it right there. Comment. Put it on. Just post it right there. There we go. Hopefully it pops up there. Yeah, it popped up. Beautiful thing. There we go. Yeah. Today is a wonderful day. Today's going to be a great day. Let me know how you feeling out there. I told you how I'm feeling. I'm feeling great. Today's a beautiful Thursday. It's been exciting during the course of the week. It's been one of a week. Let's get a round of applause for you first and foremost too. I'm jumping around, but let's for everybody showing up in real time and you being who you are. I think you deserve a round of applause. This is how we set this this live off today. Round of applause to you. Yes. Yeah. And I'm doing that from a place of appreciation. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate your contributions. I appreciate your existence. I appreciate you just being who you are. And I think that today's topic really owns in on us being uniquely who we are because in order to get to where we are today, there's something that had to happen in order for us to be here. An assembly process had to take place. We actually had to put the pieces together in order to come up with the ideal person that we are desired to be. And it was a combination of things that led us to be in this place at the very moment. In life, there are so many things that we need instruction on. Sometimes we have the manual, sometimes we don't. Um, how about assembling yourself? And if you were a puzzle, imagine the assembly process that you have to go through in order to make the ideal person that's sitting in front of us today. That's where we're going with this live today. This is where we driving home our podcast episode today. Today we actually going on our 68th episode. Beautiful thing. The numbers is I really don't like to highlight the numbers all the time, but I think it's a good reference point. It's a good point of just letting you know where we are and how we can um, motivate us to continue our journey, right? It's not just about the number, it's about the repetitions, about us showing up every day. But that's just a little bit of a reminder to let us know how far we have came, how far we have to go. And it's just a marker, just a marker. I think that documenting everything that you do is very, very important. In our lives, most of the time, we let things bypass us unbeknownst, right? And I think that when you're going through life, you always need those systems to remind you of some of the progress that you have made, right? um when people are looking for their flowers, oftentimes you're not going to get them from everybody, right? Sometimes the world doesn't reward you for you being who you are, but you can reward oneself. And the way you reward oneself is just making sure that you jot things down, that you document things, you count your small wins, your big wins, you count those learning curves, even in those moments where you took a step back and we say failure, but really isn't a failure, it's just a learning curve. But those moments where we had succumbed to just life or whatever circumstance that led us at that very moment. So what I want to do is just make sure that those markers are there. And today, assembling you is what we're going to own in on, right? We really gonna have this focal point about, okay, who are you, right? We're always talking about this building process. Well, we had to do some building to get to this point of our lives as of today, right? And I want us to say, okay, well, we are here today, but where do I want to go? How did I get here? How I'm going to get there? What are the necessary tools that I may need? What are some of the things that I may have to learn? What networks do I have to, build? Who I have to become during the process to make sure this is a feasible thing. Make sure that I can go out there and be accomplished in the areas that I decide to be accomplished in. And I think it's just a combination of things. It's really a combination of things. And that's where we at today. Let's kick this thing off really quick, right? Those comments out there, everyone. Fugazi with the Sparkles join. What's up? Love my swag in the building. What's up, God? Absolutely, the loved ones is in the building today. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Let's go with let's kick this thing off really quick right here, right? Go over some of these notes. Um, assembly required. Assembly required. The assembly of you being the assembled person, you being the puzzle, you putting these things together. Let me just interject this really quick. Just the footnote that I just want to highlight. Me, I had I was involved in music, right? And I love music. Well, music is one of my passions, and I'm definitely gonna get back to the music, and I'm gonna do some creative things surrounding that. Definitely in the so what I want to do is uh come up with some functional way to put together a music podcast slash music type of thing, right? And I think creatively, long as I have the idea out there and actually start to execute on it, I think it'll be a wonderful thing. People put together motivational albums where they talking over some of the production, they talking over the beats. So I've seen this done from various people, almost instrumental album. Only thing is that you have the dialogue of someone else talking. But imagine I have the soundtrack of my podcast, and it's similar to um doing a motivational piece. I think that putting together a motivational podcast sequence of a body of work when it comes to production and audio on a musical side and intertwining both fields, I think is a creative idea that I actually want to and actually going to execute on in due time, right? Because there's so many things that's going on in my mind at all times. But one way that it would drive and fuel more of the purpose is let me get back into that space of music. So music does wonders for me. I love music. Music is just a place where I can just really, really zone out. And I think that we all have different levels of interests and passions and things that we do during the course of our lives, right? And music is just one of them. So leading towards the podcast, I found out that communication, being able to talk, being able to speak, being able to express is the areas where I get the most euphoric feeling. This is where I feel at peace. This is where I feel I can drive home creativity. Just being able to put things together and actually making it make sense when it comes to music. Music is it's just a real attachment for me. What I'm saying is that for you, there's some things that happen in your life. There's some interest in your life. There's some things that you have experienced. There's some things or love that you may have with a particular thing or passion or sport or whatever it may be. You may be a writer, fluent writer. You may be a person that just love to study. You may be a person that love to play sports. You may be a person that loves music, dance, art, fashion, combination of things. All of these things are some of the areas where I really enjoy. So if I'm a personnel that have all of these interests, that is part of my assembly of who's standing in front of you today. That's part of the process that allowed me to be here today. And I want you just to think about that for a moment, about what allowed you to be here today. What is some of the pieces along your journey? If you were a big puzzle, right? Imagine you being this puzzle. I came out, I started that conversation. I came out with a project called Pieces to the Puzzle, just to cap off the last conversation, because I started to get down this rabbit hole. But the premise of me talking about all of these things with music, etc., I came out with a project called Pieces to the Puzzle. And how ironic we are reliving the pieces to the puzzle of you today. I just think that it was a wild coincidence. Even though nothing happens by happenstance, everything is happening divinely, almost like a divine appointment. But I just wanted to highlight that. But allow me to get here of thinking about how you arrived here. What are the things or the pieces that allowed you to be here today? Just think about that for a moment. We definitely gonna hit on all of these key components, but I just want you to think about that at the very moment. You being the puzzle, imagine dumping out a big old puzzle, and that big old puzzle is a description or the life or the experiences that you had in your life. Imagine you on the table and you have to actually put these pieces together. What would that process look like? We're going to go through those steps and actually highlight on what it would take in order to put together the ideal person, which would be you, right? So, man, I'm pumped. Just get into it. Just get into it. So, assembly required. Your life didn't come with instructions. You aren't receiving a finished version of you. You're not receiving a finished version of you. Life gives you some parts. Some make some sense, immediate sense. Others don't make sense at all until years later. Some pieces won't belong in a final build of it all. What are we saying there? We're saying that there are some pieces that may fit, some pieces that don't fit, some pieces that you already have that you're trying to make sense of. So you are a mixture of a number or a combination of things. Um, your responsibility isn't to identify, assemble, test, adjust, disassemble when necessary, and continue building. Um, Imagine receiving an enormous box with your name on it, which we talked about, dumping this big box out, and it's all you, pieces of you. You open it. Inside of this box, there are hundreds of pieces. What does these pieces consist of? Let's highlight them. Some of the pieces, or one of the pieces, may be your personality, your childhood experiences, your natural abilities, your weaknesses, your relationships, your mistakes, your curiosity, your fear, your opportunities, your pain, your knowledge, your ambition, your time, your time. Then you notice something strange. There are no instructions. Well, that's how life happens. Life is a combination of all of those attributes that we just highlighted, but there is no instruction manual that came with how you're supposed to put these pieces together. Here we go. Imagine taking someone else's instruction manual. Imagine taking someone else's life, their pieces, not your own, and trying to piece together your life. We just highlighted all of the things that goes into assembling you, your experiences, your curiosity, your knowledge, your mistakes, your relationships, your friends, your disheartening things, your interest, all of these things that pertain to you. Imagine dumping your pieces that came with you out and taking on someone else's pieces, their own experiences, their vision, their sight, their ideas, their curiosity, their hurt, their pain, their trauma. Imagine taking on their attributes. How would you think your life would turn out if we are living in someone else's or put together by someone else's pieces? Imagine being put together with someone else's thoughts, someone else's ideas, someone else's interests. Imagine you like sports and then you trying to live up to someone else's interest in reading. How would that work? Imagine you have an interest in learning biology and then you take on the attributes of someone else playing field hockey. What would happen? You would feel a disconnect. You would feel like, wait, this doesn't align with me and my purpose and my premise. I'm supposed to be curating my premise and purpose, but I have all of the interests and all of the attributes. My attention is in someone else's, my attention is grabbed by someone else's attributes and interests and thoughts and perspectives. Do you ever think that you would be able to put together those pieces well enough to make the ideal version of you? Let me say that one more time. Do you think if you took someone else's pieces to their puzzle, do you think that you would match every piece together to make the ideal experience, life, fulfillment for you? I don't think so. I don't think so. Let me just share one of my experiences that I can confirm from my experience. Going down the road and trying to live up live up to the Joneses. Meaning there's a saying that trying to do what everyone else does, right? There was a point in time in my life where I tried to do what everybody else had done. When people were doing particular activities, I quote unquote call myself being part of the in crowd. And although I was part of the in crowd, I felt like an outcast. Although I felt like I was part of the in crowd, I also felt like an outcast. When everybody's doing their thing, doing their thing over there, this is where it looks like the fun is at. This is where it looks like the attention is at. This is where it seems like all the eyes are on this particular thing. I told myself, hey, am I cool enough to be over there? So I wandered along, played along, people pleased, yes, everybody, and started to figure out that, hey, I'm actually living up to the expectations of everybody else, not oneself. And I felt disconnected. Although the attention, the smiles, the likes, the dislikes were there, I wasn't. I felt like there was a part of me that was disconnected. Ooh, welcome to the not so in crowd, brother. Absolutely. Visual Canvas 1524. What's up, loved one? Welcome to the not so in crowd, brother. Absolutely. Imagine being in those places and spaces where this is where isn't the lights isn't shined on this crowd right here. I felt like that in the midst of the in crowd, felt like the outcast. And I had to learn and relearn how to put my own pieces together to make sure that I'm built up with my premise and my purpose, because purpose is curated. You create your purpose. Most people think that gift is just given to you. No, you have certain attributes that innately you're a talent, you are gifted with, right? You have talents that may shine through more than others because it's innate in you, right? But although that may be the talent that's there, if you are following and doing what everyone else is doing, you're missing your cue. You're missing your talents. You're missing the point of creating and curating your purpose. Me being a yes man allowed me to go down that path of not being uniquely me. I just want to know who else out there has felt like that. My brother right here, Visual Canvas, explained that. Welcome to the not so in crowd. Let me highlight that for everyone so they can see exactly what we're talking about. So you see the just what I was talking about earlier, just to highlight when we leave comments on the YouTube platform, we able to see them in real time as you can see displayed. So thank you for that as well, bro. I want to be able to do this throughout the conversation so everybody can see what's going on, what's being said, right? So it's a beautiful thing. So imagine that. Imagine. It's one of the disheartening things when you come to realization. You're like, wow, I was really in this place and I thought there wasn't a way out. You had to find identity. You had to start taking your pieces and your experiences, the way you lived your life. You had to start piecing those things together to make it make sense for you and your purpose. See, most of the times we deal with some pieces of, just say, um, I'm just say trauma, right? Had a conversation in my household yesterday, very prevalent to this moment, at this very moment. I like that. Very prevalent at this moment, at the moment. But ideally, we were talking about some of the things that we experience as like when we were in our youth, right? Just being children. And most of the times we think that we are by ourselves. So we talking to a loved one in our family, and it's it's our youth, and we just bringing up conversations around how life can throw some things at you that you're not familiar with. And in those moments, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you feel super isolated. You feel like you're in solitude by yourself, right? You feel like I can't talk to nobody. I can't express how I feel because no one would understand. At that very moment, I picked up the phone maybe 10:30 last night, called my brother, and I talked to Honey Wave King. Shout out Honey Wave King. I talked to bro. And 2 minutes of us being on the phone, we just recollect about some of the things that we experienced when we were youth. And there wasn't favorable things from a parenting perspective. As you being an adult looking down for children, you wouldn't want this for any child. But there were some of our experiences. And just as a disclaimer, it wasn't from our direct parents. It's just saying that people that we were around that was part of our guardianship, just being younger kids and looking at the older personnel from friends, family, extended family, whatever it may be, we just looked at other personnel as guardians and their guidances at the very moment. We were taught some things that child or children shouldn't really be experiencing. But more importantly, we started to understand that there's a cycle of things that get introduced to us, that even the people that introduced it to us was introduced by someone else. So it's a cycle, right? Some of the traumas get passed down. And we would just sit down last night, just explaining and talking about, hey, the things that you see, the things that you experience, we have experienced too. See, we had to learn and go through some of these things to know better. Hey, that's not the right thing to do. We don't disrespect one another, because in here we got to treat each other with respect, because we don't respect ourselves. That means that we allow the door to be open for disrespect. But what does disrespect look like? What does respect look like? Having the correct mannerisms, saying hello, thank you, having your oath, having the man or the woman, your word is your bond, meaning that, hey, I'm bound to my word. Whatever I say, I do. Those type of things. Hey, I'm responsible. Having autonomy over oneself, making sure that, hey, I'm willing and able and capable. I'm responsible. I can respond with an ability. With an ability. How do we teach that? I was taught that very early on in my life. We was talking about it briefly last night. Just a young kid, mother worked hard. When we went to school, came home from school, took the clothes off. After that, take your clothes off, clean the room, clean the house, get your stuff together. You go to the laundromat Saturday mornings. It was a sequence of instructions that we had got from our guardianship, our parents, our loved ones, that taught us some of the things that we need to have in order to be responsible people in the near future when we became adults. So what I was talking about last night was simply saying, hey, when you see or when you take on ownership of being a responsible person, that falls over into the lines of being able to have a mind of your own. Although we may be able to be influenced by other people, places, and things, when you start to be responsible for oneself, you start to shape and mold your mind to be a free thinker. See, there's nothing wrong with taking ideas from other personnel, because this is how we learn and grow and build upon the will, right? The thing is that there may be some dysfunctional things that we have experienced. It could be in your family, it could be in the school setting, it can be with your friends, it could be in your work environments, it could be with television, it could be with social media. We can see a lot of dysfunction, but we have nothing to compare the dysfunction to. The only thing that we are able to produce is dysfunction. Let me say that one more time. In the world that we are living in, we may be introduced to things. In the midst of us being introduced to things, we start to adopt a philosophy and a behavior behind that. You start to act out what you see. You start to mimic what you see. We are creatures of habit. So we see things look amusing. We start to act out. We don't even know that acting out is part of a dysfunction. But if we don't know how to have the correct mannerisms, dealing with levels of respect, open, honesty, truth, transparency, if we don't know what those things look like, then we'll start to act out from a point of dysfunction. And then when we acting out from that point of dysfunction, the results is going to be dysfunctional results. If you don't have something else to compare that to, your life will be a cycle of dysfunction. So what I'm saying is that it's very, very important that we be able to gain the knowledge, collect the data, and then actually evaluate the data, have the revisions, and say, you know what? Hey, although I've experienced this, although I've seen that, is that the right thing? Everything is in question. Everything is due to further research. So what I've learned just being in my household, there's one thing that my mother always says to me. That's good, but there's still more room for improvement. We could do better. Even to this day, no matter how small, no matter how big, it could be simple. It could be a simple diet. You know what? Hey, I did X, Y, and Z today, but I could be better. So the constant reinforcement of being better and encouragement will allow me to constantly have an outlook on a positive note and saying that, hey, this is an optimistic perspective that I want to adopt, meaning that the cup is half full, not empty. So when I adopt that philosophy, I'm not making no other room for dysfunction when it comes to, or being a pessimistic person of saying that I can't, I won't. There's no way I can do. I won't adopt that philosophy, because now what's leading of my frontal lobe, what's out in the forefront is you can, you will, willingness, responsibility. No, the reason why you sweep and mop and take care of your duties inside the household, because they carry over on the outside. Today I had an encounter. I was on the phone with Lizzie at the same time. I go to Target, just give you a point of contention of how things can be so dysfunctional. Dysfunction can follow you no matter where you are. There are going to be things that challenge you no matter where you are. We talk about the pieces, our lives, our experiences, all of these things. We take mental notes, we take physical notes, we write these things down, we jot these things down, and then we adopt it to a memory. But then how we write that story is going to matter. How do we adapt to that story is going to matter. So today I'm actually in Target, going there, picking up a few things. While I'm in the store, I end up running into two gentlemen, right? The two brothers look just like me, right? They were line hopping, keep trying to find the smaller line, right? And they were going to 3 or 4 lines. And I said, look at this thing here, right? I sat back, waited patient. I said, you know what? I'm just going to stay right here, stay on this one line. I'm going to proceed. When the lady go, I'm going to go and follow up behind. Long story short, the two brothers skipped over 2 lines. The lady ended up getting her things together, bring the lady up fast. I was the next person in line. When I was the next person in line, um, two of the brothers looked and seen that I was next. So when they seen that I was next, they came over there. Oh man, did a little huffing and puffing, and then one of the guys that proceeded and said to me, "Today's your lucky day." And me, listening to how the context of the conversation, just listening to the conversation in general, I did the look around thing like, lucky day. Who have a lucky day, right? And not saying that I don't want to have a lucky day, because I'm very I would love to have lucky days, but I know that his point of saying that I had a lucky day, he was really just trying to be derogatory, and he really tried to push the envelope. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did say who who having a lucky day, right? And the guys started to proceed. You have a lucky day, because if it wasn't this, and started going to that thing. And I sat back and I said, okay, this is where I'm gonna just check out, because clearly, looking for some type of level of satisfaction, and maybe this is part of him, her, whatever, the pieces that they had on their board. So when it comes to communication, maybe their way of communicating was dysfunctional. And I could have caught myself up in that same level of dysfunction. And for a second, to be fully transparent, I almost did. Because even my response, when he got a little sassy with the "today's your lucky day," I was like, who lucky day? Who? And I said, chill, relax, get out the store one piece. People need to make it home to their families. And I said to myself, well, clearly the form of communication is disrupted. For whatever reason, to interject or try to enforce the authority over another personnel, maybe that personnel had dealt with something in their lives to where they didn't have their freedom to feel like they can just be themselves, or felt like they had to be punked, or had to push out the bravado-ness. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, how many of us suffer with this thing daily? How many of us are egotistical in some ways that will lead us down these paths that may not allow us to make it back home to our loved ones? And I see this daily. I experience this on many different levels. This ain't my first time coming here explaining how I cross paths with different personnel, and the energy is like, but it's a challenge to oneself to say, hey, if this is what you want to be this personnel that's positive and preaching, you're going to be met with some friction. And your responses can't be, oh, would you're lucky? Yeah, you bet it was your lucky day. Now we going back and forth and saying who had a lucky day or not, but really meaning something derogatory to spark something. So what I'm saying, need some? Where at? In the gram? Tell them to see if they, please tell them. Let's go over to, we have some comments right there on Instagram. If you can, if you hear this, you see this. I can pin the YouTube. I'll have to learn. Do I have to copy the link? Now we do this in real time. Pin the message. So can I go to, what's up, loved ones? He's doing this in real time. It's a live. So this is what happens on a live, right? It's not scripted. This is real time. What I'm going to do really quick, see if I can pin the YouTube. Can I put the link? So let me go. Let me see if I can share, right? The link on Instagram. Really quick, loved ones. We are still here. We are tapped in. We go to here on on. Yes, I'm actually take the link. I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna copy the link. If I pin it, can he click the link? If can he pin it? I'm gonna try that first. Let me copy it. I'm gonna put the link right here in the so loved ones. I'm gonna post this. I just posted that. Now, how do I pin comment? I pinned the comment. I just pinned it. You can't? Okay. Yeah. Right, my YouTube name. You said just the YouTube name at Respectfully Great. That's what it is. And pin it. Okay. So let me go to at RES SPECTFULY. And respectfully great. Let me post that. Let me see if I can pin that. Can you pin two things? What? Okay. Yes. So let me pin this one. Pin this one. So I pin that one. At respectfully great. Cool. So while I'm here, let me just read some of the comments really quick. Since I'm here, it says, I do what I want and I do it alone. You're supposed to have your own relationship with Yeshua, God of unity and provision. Beautiful comment. Beautiful comment. I do what I want. I would love to have this comment highlighted on YouTube. Can you please watch Dragon Slayer? Peace, loved one. Oh, Watchman Dragon Slayer. Can you please take that comment and go to our YouTube so I'll be able to pin your comment? Because I would love for people to see what you have wrote. Right? Do what I want, and I do it alone. You're supposed to have your own relationship with Yeshua. Beautiful thing. God of unity and provision. Powerful, 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 powerful. I respect that. Glad I caught you live, family. Absolutely. I appreciate that, God. Absolutely. I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming through. Yes, yes. Man. Um, so I guess not really sidetrack. We are right here, right on time. So that's mainly just talking about the experience today at Target. Things happen. The ultimate thing is figuring out, okay, what pieces do you have in your box of assembly that you need to put together to make the ideal person of who you are and where you want to be at, right? So let's go to some of the things, right? Because I think it's very, very important of just doing an inventory check, right? So we have inventory parts. What is actually inside your box? Before we start to assemble anything, identify the components. That's what we're going to do. In your box, who you are. Let's do a self audit. Let's see what do we have. Let's do an inventory check. So part of the inventory check, we're gonna have the parts acronym, which is P. P is personality. Who are you? Look yourself in the mirror, ask yourself the question, well, who am I? How do I naturally operate? How do I naturally operate? Personality. How do I naturally operate? Um, if you're introverted, right? Extroverted. Are you analytical, right? Are you creative? Are you structured? Are you spontaneous? Are you competitive? Are you collaborative? Collaborative. Saying that thing like a tongue twister. Say that 5 times fast. Collaborative, collaborative, bop, 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 boop, bop, boop, boop, bop, bop, right? What are you? Who are you? For me, so there's a term called ambivert. Ambivert is someone that is introverted and extroverted, but you are right in the middle. We call it ambiverted, right? So along my journey, I used to ask myself, am I introverted? Am I extroverted? And I'm like, I'm not really super outgoing, but I do love crowds. I do love being around thriving energies. I don't have to be the center of the attention, but I love to be where it's happening at, right? I love to be there where it's going down. So I do like that. But I also noticed for oneself, I'm very, very closed off to a degree. I really, really enjoy my personal time. I take a lot of time out for me. There's certain things that I love to avoid because I don't want to be in the in crowd, depending on what it is. I'm very secluded on a lot of areas of my life. So I said, wow, am I to one extreme? Am I introverted or am I extroverted? And I found out there's a term called ambiverted, which you are both. So I think for most people, you see variations of extrovertedness. You see some personnel, that same person that may be super super outgoing may be introverted depending on what they're doing or what environment that they're in. I think there's a combination that I think humans are unique ideally, and I think that you don't have to be one thing in order to have the levels of expression and to adopt the philosophy surrounding who you are, right? To give yourself permission. You don't have to say I'm only this or only that. You're allowed to give yourself permission to change. Allow yourself to have the freedom to uh, do do what you want at your discretion, as long as you're not harming nobody in the process, right? But ideally, allow yourself to be free in thought and challenge yourself. Challenge your extroverted and say, okay, am I really that outgoing? going to places where it's going down at, and see, do I feel at peace here? Do I feel comfort? Do I feel like I have the ultimate level of expression in this very place at the very moment? Try it out. Or go into a place where it's quiet. Go to a place where it's zen like. Go to a place where there's not much going on, and see how you able to handle that level of experience, right? Allow yourself to go through those things. So we talk about the P. P's personality. If you go to A, what is A? A's abilities. What can you already do well? Everybody has an innate gift. A lot of times we shy away from it, but there's certain things that you do very well that other people don't do as well as you, because you are gifted. I talk about this so much now, and I'm gonna be talking about it even more in the near future. I'm learning cartomancy, so I'm learning how to um, read cards, learn learn the celestial bodies out in the world, learning different levels of frequencies, getting really in tune with the polarities, just really getting tapped into another side of oneself that piques my interest. Um, there's so many things that I would love to learn to study. You have to take time out for them, but in the midst of learning, this is part of some of this is what carry my interest. Other people may not have that interest, and I'm finding out that, hey, if I have an interest, go explore it. Don't be shy. Have the conversation around it. Everything may not be for everybody. That's okay. But since it's my interest, I can express myself how I feel about it. And then maybe I can find myself in rooms with other people that are in the same field of expertise or have the same interests. Because there are communities, there are think tanks, there are tribes, there are people that look like us do things like this, meaning that whatever interest that you may have, you may share the same sentiment with someone else. I was watching the other day with this young prodigy, and she's a girl. I don't know what her background is, but she's a idiot savant when it comes to um learning and dealing with chess master. The girl has to be, I think, like 7 to 8 years old, and a prodigy. I'm just watching her go against and playing against different people, and I say to myself, when we talking about finding our tribe, your tribe can be uh in the age range of elderly. It could be down on the level of youth. It could be your medium range of your peers directly. It could be not just through age. We're using age as one proponent, meaning that this girl's 8 years old and she's playing chess around the world with grandmasters, et cetera, and they're all ages, right? So her tribe, her community, her people is right there in an environment where chess is being played. There's an environment, there's a community, there's a tribe of people that do similar things that you do, that have the same levels of interest that you have. So I would like us just to get more familiar with it. I don't want us to feel like we have to shy away from it. This increase our awareness to say, you know what, I can be comfortable in the places and spaces of expressing myself when it comes to these things. So when we talked about P, personality, we talked about A, which is abilities. What can you do well? Identify with that, right? The next is R, right? For the parts, it's R, recurring interests. What subjects, problems, and ideas keep pulling you back? There's certain things that keep drawing your attention, that's pulling you towards the thing, right? For me, I just talked about earlier, music, right? What are yours? What are some of the things that keep pulling you back in? And every time you see this pop up on the screen, see it somewhere, experience it, think about it, you have this smile that come across your face, and it's like, there's something that connects me to this thing right here. What is that? Ask yourself, what makes me happy? What things do I like to experience that give me the feeling like none other? There are things that draw our attention towards. There's things that draw our attention towards uh, experiencing that thing. One of the things that I notice, and I say me because I'm giving just premise about how you can discover oneself. I just started. One thing I noticed about me is that I seek challenges, right? In the midst of 99 other things that grab my attention, I see challenges. I seek personal challenges. I do a lot of things to challenge oneself. I got into the mode of running. I've been running. Not only have I been running, I've been PRing, getting my personal records. I'm crushing my own personal records. And of course, you know, I'll put it out there for anybody who may have interest. But ideally, this is something or an area where it gives me fulfillment. So I do a lot of these things in private. Of course, I don't mind putting them out there for public because there's no right or wrong in doing so. But I know me personally, there's so many things that I do to challenge oneself behind closed doors. And one of the things that I've been really, really ramped up and really, really been really like focused on is being able to develop my running, right? Being able to be proficient in that area, being disciplined to get up even the days that I don't want to. Tomorrow I have my long run, which is Friday. I do my long runs on Friday. And I'm like, ooh, not dreading it, but I can't wait till I finish already before I start it. That's how I feel right now because I know it's going to be a challenge, even though I still seek it because when it's all said and done, I feel rewarded for oneself. And I felt like I done something hard for the day. So that's one of my areas where when he asked earlier, are you analytical? Are you competitive? Are you this? Are you that? I know I have a competitive spirit by oneself. But what is it about you that allow you to be you? Are you uh you know very loving, comforting? Are you um are you analytical? Are you dealing with data driven things? Are you someone that just want peace and quiet and harmony? You just want to be in Zen mode. Are you a personnel that's like that? Are you a personnel that loves to be around or center of the attention? Do you love to be, hey yo, I'm getting the party started? Are you one of those personnels? Who are you? Just take some time to think about it because a lot of times we get pulled away from it because we are dealing with so many levels of distractions. Remember we talked about earlier about how about if I took someone else's pieces and try to live my life according to their pieces? I think there's a big part of us in society. I think that we all do. We see the grass is greener on the other side at times, and we think that hey, in order for me to have that level of fulfillment, I got to get what they have so it can bring happiness to me. And oftentimes that is not really the right approach. The thing is that you have to follow one heart, follow one spirit. If you say, hey, I want to have financial literacy and I want to acquire wealth, well, there are people and personnel that's out there that have acquired wealth, but are you willing to take on the same level of disciplines? Not just be who they are, not just take on what they have. Are you ready to acquire the level of discipline to allow you to get to that place to acquire what it is or be able to have access to some of the things that you say you want? So that's some of the questions that I ask you. Powerful question right here. Here we go. And we need to see this. Mastering being alone is one of my new hobbies. I'm the biggest critic. If I can deal with myself, I'm almost all the way there. Being successful in my own way and being satisfied. Oh, that's so powerful. Come on, where's the epiphany right here? Get the challenge for that. One more. Let me say that one more time. Visual Canvas 1524. I'm gonna read that one more time. Mastering being alone is my new hobby. Mastering being by oneself. I'm the biggest critic. If I can deal with myself, I'm always, I'm, I'm almost all the way there. Being successful in my own way and being satisfied. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. Challenging yourself to be with you. How many of us run away from ourselves? That's so powerful right there, man. Sometimes it's tough to really look oneself in the mirror. Why do I say this? We always say that we practice self-love and all that. As we talking about it right now, it's not an easy task. A lot of times we critique ourselves. Oftentimes we were critiqued by someone else that's what built up our insecurities. There were people that told us that we didn't look appealing, or you too tall, you too short, you don't have the money, you don't have the looks, you don't have the finances, you don't have the women, you don't have the cars, you don't have the charisma, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this, you don't have that, you'll never be this, you'll never be that. What happens when you hear this constant, almost like a recorder playing in your mind? You press play, and all you hear is, you'll never be this. You're not this. You're not that. Not Not. What happens to your subconscious? The brain works in a funny way. Your brain works in a way where the thoughts, right, that come inside, because thinking doesn't happen inside the brain, it happens outside of the brain. I learned this from Dr. Ali. Light perturbations is where we get thought from. That's a whole nother topic, right? But thinking doesn't happen inside the brain. It happens outside of the brain. So when thinking starts to happen outside of the brain, we take it inside our brain. And what happens to the brain itself, the brain start to try to conspire to make whatever those thoughts coming and passing through our mind. You try to make it a reality. You try to make it true. So when we hearing things in our mind, right, the mind is not biased on good, bad, or indifferent. The mind just try to make sense of what's being pushed inside of our minds. So when you hear on replay, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, you'll never be successful, nobody likes you, nobody did this, no that, subconsciously, we start to adopt that philosophy. We start to look at oneself like, you know what? People don't like me. I'm gonna give them a reason not to like me. So now you walking around, you mean, you mad all the time because you took on the philosophy and the ideology of someone else. Someone else painted the picture. Someone else painted the picture that you now encapsulate and you put inside of your mind. And now that picture is just being played all day, over and over and over again, of mean, mad, disgruntled personnel. Although in your heart you want to love, you want to be, you want to love, you want to hug, you want to kiss, you want to touch, you want to feel, you want to be nice, you want to be able to just express yourself in a way, in a manner of letting your guard down, being vulnerable. But what happened was somebody told you that, man, you're not really like that. You this, you that, and they gave you a total opposite. So now on our pieces that putting us together in that assembly, when we dumped out all of those pieces, you picked out one of the pieces that says disgruntled. And as you put that together and try to make the assembly of you, you start walking around with a disgruntled mentality. So every time you met with something that looks like friction or something that could tamper with or kind of alter how you should feel, you meet it with disgruntledness. Now I'm going to meet that exactly where it's at. So instead of people coming up to me and trying to figure out if I'm happy or sad, I'm gonna put up the energy that I'm not the one to be messed with. So now we walking around me mugging, mad, pissed off. I heard a person, I'm not gonna say the personnel, but I heard a guy say one time, what did he say exactly? He said that yes, he's exactly what he said. He said people say people say I'm an a-hole. He said people say I'm an a-hole. And he said, I don't care because I give them exactly what they're looking for. And I thought about that. And I'm like, you let these other personnel create a misnomer, create a falsehood around who you are. And here we are adopting a philosophy and living out what the other people think of us. And in his heart, I could tell, because there's moments that I see him that he don't act like the a-hole. He act like a really nice guy. And I'm like, well, why does he pick up this persona? Somewhere along his journey, he thought that picking up that disgruntled personality trait is serving him. Because he said to me that, hey, people think I'm an a-hole and I'm gonna give them exactly what they want. Why are we out there matching that level of energy? We did the Spain chart, and we seen on the Spain chart Grim and all of those other things are on the lower, on a lower totem pole of frequencies. So we giving people low vibrational frequencies. How do we ever uprising and closer to, my brother Jay said, get closer to God, get closer to that God-like personnel that's within you? How do we get there if we operating from the lower self? It makes you think. It makes you say, you know what? Is it worth me going out there and trying to prove everybody right or wrong? How about proving to yourself that you are who you say you are? How about we take on that difficult challenge of remembering who you are and picking up some new pieces to make sure that they're in alignment of your premise and your purpose? Because we know what they think, they only living out their experiences from their perspective. So they don't know what's going on in your life and the things that you experience and the things that you see, what you think about. They don't know those things. They only know what you share with them. And ultimately, people only give other people what they're looking for, not really the truth. People just go bypass and say, oh, I tell you exactly what you want to hear. I know that because I've done it when I was a people pleasing person. I've done that. Hey, that's you like, okay, I like it too. And in my heart, I felt different. So what I'm saying is that getting comfortable in the places and spaces where you can be open and honest, which start with yourself before we can openly be open and honest with everybody, right? Start with oneself. Look yourself and be comfortable with oneself. Sit there and say, you know what? Hey, I love who I am. Practice love. Practice giving yourself grace. Practice, saying forgiving oneself. Understand that some of the decisions that were made in your life, ultimately, of course, we want to say you have full autonomy, but sometimes our awareness wasn't there when we made some of these decisions. And now that we are aware, we have a moral obligation to fix those things if we choose to. So we don't have to play victim in our lives anymore. We can say, you know what? Yeah, I made some mistakes. In the midst of those mistakes, now I'll be able to find truth, because now I can use that as the measuring stick to say, you know what? Hey, I've experienced that, but I don't want to go down that path again because it was too much hardship. It was taking too much away from me. I could spend more time building who I ideally want to be. I could look at those pieces that's on my that's in that's in my big old puzzle I'm putting together, my personality puzzle, and I can say, you know what? How about I be nice, I be kind, I be caring. I could put those competitive things in there. I could put skillful and love music and different levels of hobbies. I could put all of those other things in my ensemble of pieces to make that full out puzzle of who I am, who I want to be. Lizzie says, and once you are true to yourself, there's nothing anybody else can say. Not at all. Because you are going to be the primary person that you have to please. We look and search for outside things to give us pleasure. But you understand that comes from within. What you're looking for comes from within. Outwardly, things is just the expression of what's going on from the inside. Let's go to T. We went to the P, we have A, we have R. So we have personality, abilities, recurring interests. Now we have trials, right? What has life taught you through your difficulty? We just explain that. We go to S, strengths, right? Where do ability, energy, effectiveness naturally intersect? Let me say that one more time. Where does ability, energy, effectiveness naturally intersect? Where's that fine line? Where does everything cross, right? We got to figure out those crossing points, and we got to find out that middle sweet spot. Where do you experience all of these things and where do they cross? Right? That's how we get this. That's how we get our strengths. We say, oh, I'm strong in this area. See, because I'm able to recognize, I'm able to see, I'm able to operate at my highest self when I'm here, not the lower self. I'm not operating from the lower chakras. I'm not operating from that lower me, that low vibrational thing. I'm not operating from there. I'm acting out. I'm acting out my highest frequency, which is enlightenment. I'm acting out from being an enlightened person. I'm gonna radiate that frequency. That's 600 hertz, if I'm not mistaken. I'm operating from that perspective, from my strengths, right? Uh, there are warning labels. If you open up that new box of puzzle, right, that you're gonna put together, normally there are some warning signs. The warning signs can be look like let's go. Here. It could be overthinking. It could be procrastination. Those are some of the warning signs. Need accountability could be a warning sign. Distracted easy is another warning sign. Avoid asking for help. So you're unwilling to utilize your resources. That can look like another warning sign in your life. Comparing yourselves to other people is another warning sign, because the only personnel that you need to be comparing yourself to is you, right? Um, take criticism personally. A warning sign. Every time somebody says something to you, you take it personal, and you want to you want to internalize it as a threat. Every time somebody says something to you, it's just threatening. Criticism. You don't take criticism well. There aren't necessarily reasons to abandon your dream. They're operating instructions. Yep. So there's no reason. There's no reason that you should abandon your dream. You should be progressive in that. Every day, give the attempts. Every day, do your layups, do your work, do your diligence, and saying that, you know what? Although this isn't everybody else's dream, but this is my premise and my purpose. And I'm going to exercise that no matter what. Get comfortable with doing that. I know it's a long road. Sometimes it can be boring. Sometimes it could be, hey, the grass looks green on the other side. I got shiny object syndrome. They said, what's the brother from Africa? What's the brother from Africa? Um, it was it was I can't think of the name. I give the premise of the story. Shaka Zulu? I think Shaka Zulu, right? So before when he went over there and got colonized, etc., right? Um the colonizers was dealing with trickery. He never seen his reflection before. That's what they say. Um, they said so. They showed him a mirror and showed him what he looked like, right? And they thought there was a miracle by showing him his own reflection. Also, they dyed his hair. If I'm not mistaken, they dyed his hair, and instead of all of the grays, they gave him like blonde. Whatever they did, they dyed his hair. So now he thought that he reinstored his youth, right? Um, One other last thing I remember what they said is that um they asked him, how do you catch a monkey? Right? And he said, you catch a monkey with shiny objects. Shiny objects. Um, why am I saying these things? I'm saying it because oftentimes we could be distracted and you could be misled. People, places, and things would place things around you to actually misguide you. And you have to be able to have different levels of discernment and have different vetting systems in order to say, you know what, is this right here beneficial? Or is this a place in an area where I'm getting what's the word I want to use? Had the word on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, is this an area where I'm getting exploited? Right? That might have been a word I was looking for, possibly. Looking exploited. Is this the area where I'm getting exploited at? Right? Um, we have to be aware, and the only way we ever get the awareness is if we start to build an ecosystem around us of trusting ourselves first, and then create an ecosystem around us where we have a vetting system where we can trust other people that's in your immediate circle, and then thereafter you be able to figure out, okay, who's whose alliances and who isn't. Because in this world that we living in, there are people that have agendas. If we attach ourselves to everybody else's story, how do we figure out what's going on in our lives? There's so many things that go on in the world, and I'm gonna be fully honest, I don't pay attention to everything because I know there's a world that I'm living in, which is my own world, where I need the attention. I need to figure out what's going on around me. How can I possibly figure out where the ills are in my world that I'm living in and the things I'm struggling with? How do I have the time to actually go out there and figure out what the world is doing, and I have my own business to attend to? Things aren't right in my life. I say, hey, I want to increase my finances. I want to increase my communication. I want to build stronger alliances, stronger relationships. I want to do all of these things, but I'm not actually putting these things into practice. How can I ever go out there and be accomplished in these areas? I won't. I won't. So the distractions is what we got to look out for. Distractions is what we got to look out for. I want us just to be aware to let us know that, hey, you're going to encounter some things. You're going to encounter some things that happens. There are going to be people, places, and things that try to trick you out your spot. And it may just be the wrong energy that's around you. It may be the wrong environment or space that you occupy. This right here may not be conducive to my well-being because right here it's just triggering me to do something that I don't want to do. So we got to be able to be able to say, hey, I can identify with me. I can identify where some areas of my life where I need some attention. But how can we fix those things if we fixated on someone else's? Simply take more time out for oneself, because putting the pieces together to assemble your life the way you desire to live it is going to require some time. So we can't neglect. We cannot neglect putting in the time to study oneself, to know who you are. Every day you have opportunity to do that. Learn your likes, learn your dislikes, learn where you feel triggered at, learn where you dealt with um some ills, you deal with identity, you deal with uh you know whatever makes you uncomfortable, what makes you feel euphoric, whatever makes you feel lively, with things that that take all your energy, like draining the battery. Find out what who where what things that contribute or take away from you. Because once you start to identify, then you can start mapping out your life to say, you know what, instead of me doing this, I could do that. Instead of me going over here, I'd rather go over here. Instead of me doing this with my money, I could do this with my money. Instead of me going blah 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 blah, I could do that. It could be this or that. It could be this or that. And then now you can structure your world and the life that you want to experience in the world that you want to live in. That life can be created. The life that you want to experience can be created. And all it's going to take and require some time and discipline. The only person that can create that life for you is you. We look to other people, places, and things to fix our problems, to make everything happy, make everything go away. It don't happen like that. You have to deal with being responsible for your own. You got to deal with responsibility. Man, we moving and grooving. We almost there. We almost there, loved ones. If you are here with us, give some thumbs up, some chat. Let me know how you feel in the chat. I'm gonna shoot over to Graham really quick. Uli, Lizzie, after God was happening, Neff, number love continue. Dariana in the building. What's up, my little cousin in the building. P in the building. Affordable car rentals in the building. Pajama drum. What's up, my boy? P said. P said I just found real peace when I learned to be by myself. Absolutely, loved one. He said he found real peace when he learned how to be by himself. Very, very key. Very, very key. You learn how to be with oneself, man. Accept yourself. And then from there, everything else going to be a forward progressive movement, right? You're gonna be a forward progressive movement from that point. Just being able to say, you know what, hey, I learned how to be with me, because you're gonna take you everywhere, no matter where you go. You're going to be with oneself, right? You may not be able to take the car, you may not be able to take the money, you may not be able to take this, you may not be able to take that, you may not be able to take your companion, you may not be able to take none of these other things, but you're gonna take you. So that letting you know that, hey, I gotta get comfortable with me. I have to be accepting. I have to be accepting of me, you know? So just get familiar with that. Let us know how we doing out there in the chat, man. Give us some thumbs up, some emojis, some fire emojis. Let me know your comments. Put them in, please, on the YouTube or wherever you are. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, StreamYard, TikTok, all those platforms. Leave them anywhere. But everybody else is able to see them on the YouTube in real time. So that's why I be emphasizing and trying to strengthen that that avenue, right? Thank you guys continuously. We still moving and grooving. Let's go to We talked about dream and purpose. We talked about how to assemble that. Uh, yeah, we talked about that. Just another parts of the assembly. It says, here's where the dream and the purpose come into play. Uh, what do I want? When we talked about some of the things that we want, it could be financial independence, it could be a business, it could be a healthy family, creative freedom, a platform, community impact, peace, a combination of things, right? So that's just some of the many that you can choose in your bag or your repertoire of tricks or just identity, just character traits, really character traits. You could pick any of it and we can exercise that. We just got to be able to maintain the discipline around it in order to actually experience what that thing is, you know? So that's that. Sort the pieces out, right? Sort the pieces out. Uh, you have a pile of the things that you're going to keep. You have your keep pile. These are the things that I want to keep. I want to be able to keep my mannerisms. I want to be able to keep my respect. I want to be able to keep my dignity. I want to be able to keep my love for other people, right? I want to be a personnel that is a connector or a liaison, someone that's community. I want to be able to be a great communicator. So that's what I want to keep on my character board. And out of the pieces that I dumped out and or pieces are scattered, I'm gonna make a certain pile of the ones that I want to keep. Develop. This is the part exists. This parts that exist but need strengthening. So here's the development part. So these are the pieces over here that I need to develop. Right. I want to be able to develop strength, or I want to strengthen. We talked about relationships, communication. We talked about financial, being able to be able to have the discipline to acquire more money, to invest money, to save money, to keep money in circulation. I want to develop that. So these are some of the things that I already acquire, but I want to be better at. I want to be able to be more prompt. I want to be able to be another personnel that's more astute when it comes to the craftsmanship. Now I'm speaking for me, but these are different examples that we all can utilize or say, hey, that doesn't apply to me, but this does, right? It may be being a better parent. It may be a better pet groomer. It be maybe whatever it is. These are the things that you say, hey, I already do this, but I want to be better at it. And we can practice that daily. Acquire pieces that I don't have yet, but I need to get that I need to have. This is very, very crucial. There's some things out there that I don't have on on my board, or I haven't put together yet. I don't have that. I haven't acquired that piece yet, right? And one of the things that I love utilizing all the time is that becoming the person so I can acquire the thing. Maybe that piece that you're looking for, you haven't developed into the person to acquire it yet. So what I'm simply saying is that there may be a piece that you want to acquire. Are you the person? Are you becoming the person that can acquire that piece? Something to think about. Pieces that you don't have currently yet, but you do want it. And we can actually get that piece too, right? That piece may be able to come through education, mentorship, some technology, through relationships, through experiences, simply having the money or capital. We may be able to acquire that piece that we're looking for or develop into the person that can acquire it. And you can develop through those channels, through education, through finances, through resources, through technology, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Now we also know about this. There's some pieces on the board that we keep. There's some pieces out there that we keep that we need to get rid of. There are some pieces that's out there that we need to get rid of. Comment from Lizzie. Put this up. Fire emojis. Big love. Big energy in the building. Um, who knows about some pieces that we need to get rid of? I do. There's some pieces that I had on my board that I know wasn't conducive for me. Can I be open with you? Can I be honest? One of the pieces that I had on my board was the gambling piece. Ooh, I had to get rid of that gambling piece. I love to gamble. I told you that one part of me with my nature is being very competitive. And being very, very competitive in the world of gambling can lead you to a lot of losses because sometimes you lead with your heart. And I used to play these games leading with my heart, not really just to conquer the game. It's just somebody says something, and my competitive nature want to challenge, and I started to find out that I lost a lot of money in the world of gambling because of my competitive nature. So one of the pieces on my board that I had to get rid of was the gambling piece. And there are many more, many, trying to get it out, many more pieces that I have to get rid of. But that's one of them that was one of my biggest pieces because I adopted a philosophy around it of saying, hey, I've been doing this my whole life, which I have. I remember RRP on Bobby Jean. She used to take our money before we go before we go to school. Mama Love give us $2 a piece in the morning. About to go spend it at lunch. Johnny will have no lunch. Johnny would not have no lunch. Aunt Bobby said, "Oh, you old enough to gamble? You old enough to get your money took." So we go in the morning. We gamble that $2 a morning on Pity Pat. Shout out to me, Hunter Wave King, cousin Rico. We used to be up there in the morning. You call up there and that money get taken. Go to school, no lunch. And my mom would come on by, you had lunch today? Yeah. You had no lunch today. Aunt Bobby told me she took your money in the morning. That's what you get for gambling. You go to school. You go to school every day with no lunch money. You continue to gamble. So I had to learn the hard way. Or I had to make a soft butt. But as I got older, I understand that just because I adopted the philosophy as a youngin, that doesn't mean that I have to continue the pattern, right? I have to know when to, close certain doors with certain things because I know as I get older, the money that I acquire just can't be tossed around. It can be invested. So the money that I go in and put in someone else's pocket, I'd rather take that money and invest the money or spend the money on something that I daily want, something that I ideally want. So that's one of the pieces on the board that I had to discard and get rid of. There may be some pieces on your board that you say, you know what, I could do without. What are those pieces? I don't know. You may know though. You may know. You may know that there's a piece on your board that's hurting you. And it's just yield a return of, it's just a poor investment. Poor investment of your money, your time, your resources, your energy. This right here, I got to get rid of. You may know that. I think we all do. We all know what pieces on the board that serve us and the other ones that do a disservice. Another portion. We almost there. Loved ones. Don't force pieces. This is really, really, really crucial. I learned this. Trying to insert yourself in places and spaces that you're not wanted. Just as an example of forcing a piece. In life, there are going to be people, places, and things that don't want you in those areas. And then you try to force your way into these spaces, in these unwanted spaces. And you are met with a ton of challenges. You get in the kitchen sink thrown at you. You walk in a fine line of I don't want to say the word, but borderline unaliving is that severe. You're going to the depths of no return. And you ask yourself, is it worth being in these places and spaces that you're not accepted? They say go to places and spaces where you're appreciated, not tolerated. They say go to places and spaces where you are appreciated, not tolerated. I would love to be in places where I'm appreciated. You may not receive the appreciation that you're looking for, but when you build that ecosystem around you of openness, honesty, truthfulness, transparency, that's the places where I would like to dwell in my own ecosystem. If I can't live it out in someone else's, if I can't be over there and I'm not wanted over there, I'm gonna create it around me. I'm gonna start with me. I'm gonna create that world that I want to live in of acceptance, and then create the people, places, and things and place them around me so we can experience it together. And then we can build from that point. I'm not gonna go into the other places where it's like you're not wanted. Seats taken. You can have that seat. I wasn't looking for that seat anyway. Created my own table. So that's the mentality of when you saying, okay, let me go into the world, let me go build. Let me go build. You build with oneself. Then you build around you. When you building that house, when you building that character, when you building up these pieces that we just dumped out in order to try to put together and try to assemble something, they're gonna be some pieces on there that just don't go well together. And you got to find the right pieces to put with the right. You got to find the right pieces to put with the right pieces in order to make this picture clear. Because if you don't, the picture will look all scrambled. The picture will look all scrambled. So figure out what pieces that you need to get rid of, and also knowing that hey, it ain't worth me forcing this other piece because certain things just ain't gonna work. That's okay. That's okay. There are some other pieces that will work though, just not that. So you don't have to force yourself in places and spaces where you're tolerated. Go to the places where you appreciate it. Um, in closing, right? In closing, I just want to give the four assembly steps per se, right? If you want to assemble and you want to say, hey, how I get to create this premise and purpose that I ideally want to experience in my life, the things I want to bring into my world, how do I get there, right? We got a quick 4-step process that will allow us to do so. So let's check it out really quick. The first step would be discovery. Um, what do I have? What do I have? Right? The second one would be deciding, um, what am I building? What do I want to build? Right? The third would be sort. What stays, what develops, what gets acquired, and what gets removed. And then the fourth step is connect. Um, how can my existing pieces work together? All the pieces that you have are creating the world that you're going to experience. All of the pieces that you have is going to create the world that you experience. Some pieces don't go well together, some pieces do. Some pieces you need to get rid of, some pieces you need to acquire. Some pieces you already have, you just need to refine it. You need to take that piece that you already have and just, build upon it. It needs some more attention, needs some more discipline surrounded around it. And then at that point, we can say, "Ooh, I'm moving and grooving. I'm in purpose now. Yeah, I'm a creator. I'm a designer. I'm the architect behind this. I'm the assembler. I have the assembler. I have the assembler's manual, right? I have the assembler's manual. I can put this thing together because I have everything that I need. I have everything that I need. Oh man, it's been fun. It's been fun. It's been fun. How do you feel about this today? Let me know how you felt about this conversation that we had. Amazing. And what's my son name? Amazing. I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name. But he always says it. Amazing. Yeah, today was great. From my perspective, I had fun. Uh challenge, really thought provoking. Push myself to the limits of finding transparency, finding more ways to communicate, finding ways to be open and honest, and really trying to fulfill purpose. So today was one of those days where um, we opened up that book for that. We opened up our own manual, and we took a peek at it, and we said, okay, we have some instructions in here, and also we have some warnings in here. Also, we don't have the perfect manual because we know that we are putting this thing together on our own merit. Everybody else's manual looks different, so everybody doesn't have the same exact building schematic per se. So that being said, is I have to go out there and I have to work with what I have to work with. I have to work with what I have to work with. And that's okay because everybody has the same type of manual. You may get some level of direction or some guide from different places, but ideally it, that information only suits the personnel if they choose to utilize it. And depending on the climate, people, places, things, the different intangibles, who knows if that information may serve or hurt. The thing is that you have to build up that level of data within oneself and say, you know what do I have on my table? What pieces am I trying to put together? Who am I trying to become during this process? What am I trying to create? And through trial and error, you will start to learn. You will start to learn. Man, I'm grateful for everybody that showed up in real time. I am thankful. Um, I'm pumped, man. I'm getting back in the groove of things, is really pushing the envelope of being in purpose, right? And one of my biggest things is being able to show up. That's for me. But I would love for you to be able to show up for you. Show up in the areas where you want to exercise your right to be you. Give yourself permission. Don't allow other people, places, and things diminish your vision, diminish who you want to become. Don't let the misnomers or the displaced energy that you experienced in the past allow to take over who you are now. Don't be a host for that displaced energy. Don't operate from that Spain chart. Don't operate from the lower self. Don't operate from the lower self, from anger, from hatred, from greed, and all those other things. We don't operate from there. We operate from enlightenment, from love, from peace, from transparency. We operate from that perspective, you know? Man, I'm super thankful, grateful. Thankful for you guys being able to be here with me and us together, sharing our sentiments. Everybody that showed up in real time, whoever sees this in the near future, understand that it was divine appointments, right? Nothing crosses our table that it's not supposed to, good, bad, or indifferent. So if we're able to take these things, able to utilize it, wonderful. As a disclaimer, if I said some things that ruffle the feathers, understand my intentions wasn't to hurt. My intentions only to help, to the best of my knowledge. And I want to say, everything is due to further research. But I say, utilize it, take it, go challenge it, challenge yourself with it, challenge the belief system, challenge. And then after that, from there, you're able to say, you know what, this makes sense. This is leading me more towards the promising future of what I desire to experience. This is leading me more towards that. And if it is, beautiful thing. And we want to encourage that. If it's not, then say, you know what, hey, I could do without. Do your thing, right? Do your thing. Things that don't line, that's something that you discard out of all of the pieces you have out of your puzzle. That's the discard piece if it doesn't make sense. And we applying this throughout every areas of our lives, right? No matter what you experience, there are gonna be some pieces that don't fit. Don't force it. Don't force it. There are gonna be some pieces that fit well together. Strengthen it. Strengthen it. And in due time, we start to figure out, hey, I know what works and what doesn't. And now you're dealing with a different level of wisdom because you can see way down the line based on the decisions you're able to come up with based on the data that you already had and experience. Now you can make real sound quality decisions based off what you already experienced because now you have the data. You have the wisdom to prove, hey, you know what? I'm wise in these areas. I can make sound decisions. I trust in me. I trust in this process. Trust in your process. Man, we are out of here. I love you guys. Love yourself even more. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thumb up the video. Leave your comments. I would love to read them and be able to expound about them. And just continue to strive and do your thing, man. Till next time, till next week, 7 p.m., 7 o'clock on Thursdays. I will see you soon. Respectfully.